Hello, friends! It's already that time for another story. If you can't tell by my apparel today what our story is going to be, we are going to be reading, it's one of my favorites, and I love the Brothers Grimm version of this story. But one of my favorites, Little Red Riding Hood. So this is our story today. I hope you guys like it. I know most of my friends have most likely heard this story. I don't know if you've heard this version before. So maybe it'll be a new adventure for you. But hopefully it's a story you love and you'll enjoy it with me. I'm so glad you're here today. So let's get started. This is one of my faves. So the Brothers Grimm version of Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was loved by all who knew her, but especially by her grandmother. Grandmother had given the child a red velvet hood, and the little girl loved it so much that she would never wear anything else. And so she got the nickname Red Riding Hood. Mine's not as fancy as hers. Mine's not velvet, but that's okay. They called her Red Riding Hood. I love the pictures in this book, in this version too. So pretty. One day, her mother said to her, "Little Red Riding Hood, take this cake and bottle of cordial to grandmother. She is not feeling well, and they will do her good. But promise me you won't stray from the path. Walk straight to grandmother's and be sure to say good morning when you get there." Little Red Riding Hood promised and set out with her basket. I don't know about you guys, but when I make a promise, it's a big deal. So let's see if Little Red keeps her promise to her mama. Grandmother lived in the woods, a half-hour's walk from the village. It's a long walk. As Little Red Riding Hood walked along, she saw a wolf in front of her on the path. She had never met a wolf before, so she was not a bit afraid. "Good morning," Red Riding Hood said. He said. "Good morning, wolf," she answered, remembering to be polite. "Where might you be going on this fine day?" the wolf asked. "To grandmother's house," Red Riding Hood told him. "She has not been feeling well." "And what do you have in your basket?" asked the wolf. "Some cake and some cordial," said Red Riding Hood, to make her feel better. Did you guys talk to a wolf if you ran into a wolf? I don't know if I would do that. "Where does your grandmother live?" the wolf wanted to know. "A bit farther into the woods," Red Riding Hood told him. "Straight down this path." Thought the wolf. "This little girl will make a tasty treat, indeed. Much more tender than the old woman. I will have the old woman for dinner and this little morsel for dessert." So he's plotting something. Uh-oh. The wolf walked a little way with Red Riding Hood. Then he said, "Look at all the lovely flowers. I'm sure your grandmother would love to have some." Red Riding Hood looked at all the bright flowers dancing in the woods. What a perfect gift for grandmother, she thought. It is still early. I have plenty of time to pick a nice bouquet. Those are pretty lovely flowers. So Little Red Riding Hood left the path to pick the flowers. But each time she picked one, she saw another a little further on. And so she wandered deeper and deeper into the woods. Meanwhile, the wolf went straight to grandmother's cottage and knocked on the door. "Who is it?" called grandmother. "It is Red Riding Hood," said the wolf in the sweetest voice he could manage. "Lift the latch and come in, my dear," said Grandmother. "I am too weak to get out of bed." The wolf lifted the latch, sprang through the door, and swallowed the poor old woman whole. Then he put on her gown and nightcap, climbed into her bed, and drew the curtains. My goodness. Poor Grandma. When Red Riding Hood had picked all the flowers she could carry, she hurried on to Grandmother's house. She was surprised to see the door standing open. I would be too. I wonder what she's thinking. "Good morning, Grandmother," she called from the doorway, but no one answered. So she walked over to the bed and opened the curtains. There lay her grandmother, but she had pulled her nightcap around her face, and she looked very odd. "Oh, Grandmother," said Red Riding Hood, "what big ears you have." "The better to hear you with, my dear," said the wolf. "Oh, Grandmother, what big eyes you have." "The better to see you with," said the wolf. "Oh, Grandmother, what big teeth you have," said Red Riding Hood. "The better to eat you with, my dear," cried the wolf, and he swallowed Red Riding Hood right up. Then he crawled back under the covers for a nap. Oh, man. A short while later, a hunter passed the house and thought, "The old woman is snoring very loudly. I must see if something is wrong." When he went inside, he found the wolf fast asleep in Grandmother's bed. The hunter was just about to shoot the wolf when he wondered where the old woman might be. Had the wolf eaten her? The hunter pulled out his knife and cut open the sleeping wolf to check. The first thing he saw was a little red hood, and Red Riding Hood jumped out. Then out climbed her grandmother. How crazy is that? They were just hanging out in Wolf's belly. It's a good thing that hunter checked first. The hunter sent Red Riding Hood to gather some big stones. Then he filled the wolf with stones and sewed him back up. What an odd thing to do. The wolf woke up with a belly full of stones. He tried to roll over, then he tried to sit. Finally, he managed to get to his feet for a few seconds, then he fell down dead. Yeah, I don't know about you, but having a bunch of stones in your tummy doesn't seem like a very good thing. The hunter skinned the wolf and took the skin home to his family. Grandmother ate the cake and sipped the cordial that Red Riding Hood had brought, and soon she felt quite strong. After that, Red Riding Hood often walked to Grandmother's house, but she never again strayed from the path, and she never, ever talked to wolves. The end. I'll show you that last picture. Little Red and her grandmother. Okay, so two very big things from that story. Remember that promise she made her mom at the very beginning? It's so important. And this goes to show that nothing ever good comes from breaking a promise. If you promise something, try your hardest to keep it. And don't talk to wolves or people that you don't know, because you never know their intentions or if they're nice, if they plan to eat you. So watch who you talk to, keep your promises. But I love this story so much. It's so fun. And everything worked out okay. Red Riding Hood and her grandmother survived, and everyone was happy, and her grandma felt better, which I love. And she visited her grandma and brought her goodies and continued to do it just in a safe way. So I love that story so much. And who has ever heard that version of it? The Grimm brothers definitely know how to tell a good story. So I hope you enjoyed that with me today. You guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week, and I will be seeing you for our next story. Bye, friends.